Hello everybody, I am Liz and today I am going to be talking about my June reading wrap-up. I read a total of 4 books and 1 novella, and so I'm going to get right into what I read in June and then talk about what I'm currently reading for July. So the first book I finished is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. This is set in World War II and it really starts out but in Lithuania. So we get the Soviet takeover with Stalin. And so it was very interesting. It was definitely a rip your heart out story. It takes place with our main character Lena, who is taken from her family home with her mother and brother. Her father's not in sight at all and she's taken by these Soviet police into a train. They're transported and sold into Siberian slavery. Her goal is to really find her father and reunite her father with her family. You don't usually hear about the Soviets and Stalin's terror, and so it was very eye-opening reading this story. So I highly enjoyed this story and highly recommend it if historical fiction novels are your thing, especially when you like stories that focus more on families and, overcoming difficult situations, not necessarily on stories that focus on love, because this does have a love story, but it isn't the focus of the story. The focus of the story is really on Lena reuniting her family and survival and finding little nuggets of joy and hope and friendship in the darkest of times. So this book definitely gets a 5 out of 5. And the next book I read was really a novella, and that is Memento by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This blasts you right back into the Illumina files. It's a prequel novella, so you're really getting insight into Aiden before he gets a little cuckoo crazy in Illuminate. Our main character, Olivia Klein, she's brand new to the team. She gets to interact with Aiden and really see his AI and see how they have formed it into being this somewhat humanistic entity. And it was very interesting. I really loved this little glimpse into the world, but as I enjoyed the Illuminate files so much, I wanted so much more from this novella because I wanted it longer. I would give it a 4 out of 5 because I wanted so much more involvement and interaction with these characters. Next, I reread Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is the first reread of this book I've ever done, ever in my life. This book was so great because you got all the sass of Harry because he knows that he can one-up the Dursleys with Sirius being his godfather. It's just so entertaining. I love how clueless Harry is. It's just everything, the little quirks and kinks in this book that didn't transition to the film made me so happy for this reread. I will always love the Harry Potter books as they brought me into reading as a child, but also brought this wonder and fantasy and magic into my life, and how I will always have this fond nostalgia for it. And so I'm always going to be happy with these books. The next book I finished was a book I had never expected to read. I never in my lifetime would have ever thought I'd ever pick up a Colleen Hoover book. However, this month I picked up Verity by Colleen Hoover, and that is because it wasn't a strict romance novel by Colleen Hoover, and so I thought that it might be a little bit more up my alley. It takes place where our main character, Lowen, she's a very low-key author that is prepositioned by Jeremy Crawford and Verity Crawford's publishing company to finish Verity Crawford's esteemed, renowned series after Verity has been in an accident and can no longer meet deadlines or finish the series herself. I was actually pleasantly surprised by the writing style, at least in the first few chapters, and just the span of events and how everything gets smashed together. It was really a highlight of the story for me. However, as the story went on, the suspense aspect, the thriller aspect of Lowen digging into Verity's life and being in the creepy Crawford Manor, it was atmospheric, but it wasn't quite there. And then the romance between Jeremy and Lowen was just bizarre and it didn't click for me. And so I found that I just didn't really enjoy the story and that I'm probably never gonna pick up another Colleen Hoover book. And so this book is only getting a 2.5 out of 5. Now, the last book I finished was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This series is raved about, her newer book, Circe's, raved about, and so I had to jump on this. It's Greek mythology, obviously. It follows Achilles' story, but it's told in the point of view of Patroclus. And Madeline Miller really just weaves the story and makes it very entertaining. It's a very interesting take on Achilles and Patroclus' relationship. I really did enjoy this book, and even as it winds down to the conclusion of this story, it was very entertaining and I very much so enjoyed this book. I definitely see the hype that Madeline Miller gets and the hype this book gets. It was really entertaining. I did really enjoy it, and I definitely think this book deserves a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So there we have it. I read some really awesome, really entertaining books, and I hope July will be equally entertaining because we have so many things happening, like the reading rush and the final Bibliothon. So I have a lot of readathons and videothons coming up this month that I'm really excited for, but I'm also really stressed about because that's a lot of videos. So stick tuned for all of the crazy July mayhem. So currently for July, I am right now reading or listening to the audiobook of Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This is a play on superhero and supervillain tropes as the city is thrown into chaos, and there is a villain named Ace who basically tears apart society to get all of those gifted prodigy people into equality so everyone is free. It doesn't exactly pan out very well as the world is thrown into chaos as it becomes lawless. And then we have the renegades, or the superheroes, that come and basically stop Ace and his villainry and all of his villain sect and bring the city back into prosperity and lawfulness. And so the story takes place with Nova. Nova is Ace's niece. And so it has a very villainous undertone. She becomes this villain. I'm very at the beginning of the book. I'm only in chapter 4 right now. So it's very entertaining and I'm liking it so far. So there we have the books I read in June and the book I am currently reading. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these stories, what you think of them. I hope you enjoyed watching this today, and I hope you stick around my channel. I post every Tuesday and Friday until the craze of the Bibliothon and the reading rush. You will see a video a day for the duration of those readathons. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and remember that I love you. And until next time, bye!